Hi, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is the 11th episode of the Performing Songwriter. Now, my guest today is Keb Mo, and he is a Chinese-American who has been performing his music around the country for the last 20 years. Kevin started his music career with an appearance on Fox's Big Break show, hosted by Natalie Cole. Kevin has opened for many well-known performers, including Joe Cocker, Billy Bragg, Randy Newman, and Robin Ford. Kevin has lived in Boston, Chicago, Brooklyn, and now lives in Nashville. Kevin co-wrote a song with Keb Mo and later played in Keb Mo's band touring internationally. My guest wrote the lyrics and music for the show Great Wall, which was presented in October at the Festival of New Musicals in New York City. There's a lot more I could say about my guest, but we wouldn't have any more time if I did. So, Kevin, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I wanted to, even though I said a lot of stuff, I'm sure there's more things, and I was going to ask you to talk a little bit about how long you've been songwriting and performing in general. I think you actually started as a teenager.
I did. I because I was too shy to go to get a Hallmark card from my parents for Mother's Day or Father's Day, I would actually write these poems as a child. I think I remember about 12 years old writing little poems for my mom and dad, and I liked it. I liked the rhyming part of it. I enjoyed rhyming, and I kind of started things, and then I just got into Billy Joel, Barry Manilow, Lionel Richie, piano player singers. Being a classically trained piano player, with an upright piano, I remember seeing Lionel Richie on Solid Gold with the Commodores at the time, and he had this sparkly upright piano, singing I think one of those songs like 3 Times a Lady or something like that, and I was like, that looks pretty fun, and I started learning their songs and learning Billy Joel songs, and stopped practicing classical piano, and then I just started writing songs. I think I had a crush on a girl. That's when it all kind of happens, isn't it? And that's kind of how it all began. And then, yeah, as a teenager, and I've just been writing ever since, writing all kinds of songs. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to do one of your songs.
Sure. I'd love to. This is the
album, there you go.
Countryside.
Is that your new one? Newest one?
That's my gift to you.
Great.
So.
Thank you. There it is.
There's a DVD on there, too, so check it out.
Oh, that's cool.
Special features, you know. So I'm going to kick things off with a song called June Carter Cash. I'll be a vodka drunk possum if you'll be my Tammy Wynette. I'll be a fancy for the yoga if you'll be my Royal Reba Mac. You'll be my Emmylou, and I can be a grandma who sings at your sensitive bash. I'll be a boy named Sue Johnny if you'll be my June Carter Cash. My June Carter Cash. I'll be a pocket full of golden Vinny if you'll be my $1 million grant. You'll be my bluegrass angel alley, and I'll be your rock and roll plant. In my own peculiar way, I can be willing if you slip me the right kind of stash. I'll be a ring of fire Johnny if you'll be my June Carter Cash. I can be a gun-toting Toby. You can be my redneck Gretchen girl, or I can be some Okie from Muskogee. You sure make a fine Mrs. Merle. You can play a young Faith Hill who's single still and on the pill. I'll turn to tin in a flash. I'll be Walter Light and Johnny. You'll be my June Carter Cash. You can dress like a working 9-to-5 darling. I'll write you your first #1 smash. I'll be a man in black, Johnny. You'll be my June Carter Cash. I'll be an orange blossom, Folsom Prison, and San Quentin. Duet with Dylan, final album with Rick Rubin, Johnny. If you'll be my June Carter Cash. My June Carter Cash. My June Carter Cash. Yeah. My June Carter Cash.
That's great.
Thanks, man.
The first guest I had, the first show, is Terry Revelle, who's from Jersey. He has a song just like that. "You Be My June Carter Cash."
Right on.
But it's a different song.
Cool. Well, that's good. That's good.
Okay. We have every show we have a discussion of something about songwriting. So actually, I meant to tell you what this is ahead of time, so I'm going to have to spring this on you. Okay. But you have played, as you've already said, various genres of music. And what I wanted to ask, in terms of songwriting, do you find your approach has been different regarding what type of genre it is in any way?
Approach, I guess lately, especially in a co-writing situation, do you mean when I'm writing with other people too?
Sure, yeah, things like song structure and so forth.
Yeah, I think I'd like to kind of go with the basic premises that it's going to be kind of like your normal pop song structure. There's going to be a chorus, there's going to be a hook. I do often, more often than not, recently, I'll come up with what I think is the hook. Mm-hmm. And I'll be writing with somebody, and they're automatically thinking that that's the verse. And I'm thinking, really? Okay. That means they got to, they up the ante. It just means that you got to write something even stronger. And I like that. I think the feeling of being challenged, that's kind of the new approach, is the feeling of that desire to be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a level of comfort when you're always writing and you know it works, and you write verse, chorus, bridge. And if something seems to feel like it doesn't need a bridge, or it feels like it's going to be a folk song, then so be it. But being in Nashville, I have to admit, a lot of the times of, especially in a co-writing situation, there's absolutely no interest in writing a folk kind of ballad, because it's sort of like, well, why are we here? You know, because we're in the business to sell songs, and it's very less likely to sell. I mean, I don't know. It is about connections, but the sort of tried and true formula approach is remained the same in general. But specifically, as far as the nuts and bolts go, I think it depends on who I'm writing with. Sometimes an artist, you get a sense that they are a lyricist, and so most times I look for lyricists, because I feel like my forte is music, mm-hmm. and chord progressions and things like that, and also sort of putting it together structure-wise. And so I'll either set up a Pro Tools setup and a drum loop, and we'll get a basic chord progression and a structure, especially when we only have a couple hours to write. And then we can listen back objectively and then start putting in the words and putting in the story, especially with a strong lyricist. Sometimes you don't have a strong lyricist, and then but this person has a really good sense of melody and hook. And it's always about energy. No matter what, when you're writing, you have to have that energy. You have to be inspired, and there's got to be inspiration happening on all cylinders. And I think, especially when you're kind of on the spot and you're with people and you invited people to come over your house, and mm-hmm. and you want to come up with something that's that you're both happy about, and that you can't wait to finish the next time around if time runs out. So the approach is it's just different every time. As far as stylistically goes, yeah, it really depends on the artist I'm writing with, or just kind of what I'm feeling. And at the end of the day, of course, I don't just depend on artists. It's sort of like they might look to me and go, "What do you feel like writing about?" It's like, "How about we write? I want to do just straight ahead blues. I want to do a blues song. I haven't written a blues song in a while, and we'll try to do that." So it's just different every day.
Has anyone covered your tunes?
Yeah, well, I've had a few covered. Keb Mo just recently recorded a song. Well, he recorded a song on his
previous
a reflection called "Crush on You" with Indy Irie. It was a duet, and that was a pretty exciting thing. And then Shamika Copeland, she's a blues artist. She recorded a song called "Sounds Like the Devil" that I wrote with her, and got a few things pitching wise that are happening. And then someone also recorded a group called Big Wide Grin, a guy named Carl Warren, Lane Dempsey. They are in a trio, and they recorded a song I wrote called "Individual," more than once too. I think on a live album and then a studio record. Yeah, so it's been really cool. People are recognizing. Oh, and of course the musical, which is
yeah, exactly,
all my songs in the musical. So
how did that go?
It went really well. It was exciting. It was a little nerve-wracking in a way, because you only have technically 29 hours to work with each actor, union type of rules. And NAMT it's mainly an industry conference festival where their regional theaters all around the country are looking to produce new musicals, and we had to condense our 2-hour show to 45 minutes and create a 45-minute trailer that is not just telling the whole story, but also a teaser to kind of like entice them to go, "Oh, what's happening next?" And that was a challenge, considering the sort of time constraints we had. But we got a couple offers on the table, which I'm pretty excited about. We've been trying to get it produced for over 10 years.
Wow.
And, we're not supposed to say that. Too late. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a song here. Actually, one of the nice things about the show is I've written some new songs, because I've tended to be a little lazy recently, but I figured I better start writing. So I've written actually 3 songs. I'm working on the third one. But this is one I actually tried before, but I had just written it and I had the words, and we'll see if I can remember it. It's a song about being skeptical all the times. And I need a glass of water. We had a guy, our last show was Brian Ashley Jones is also from Nashville.
That's right. I know Brian.
Normally we have local people here.
Brian and Tisha.
But it's very cool. We get people out of town. Okay, this is called "You Gotta Be Kidding Me." The stockbroker said, "I have a sure thing. Just cough up some money, grab for that brass ring. There's always a hitch, there's no guarantee. By the grin on my face, you can always trust me." Oh, really? You gotta be kidding me, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe a word that you say. By the look in your eye, I can see it's a lie. Do you really think I was born yesterday? I went to the dentist with an ache in my tooth. He said, "I gotta pull it, it's already loose." Pain was so bad, I thought I'd gone blind. He said, "It's almost over, just a little more time." Yeah, I don't think so. You gotta be kidding me, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe a word that you say. By the look in your eye, I can see it's a lie. Do you really think I was born yesterday? Now my congressman said he works for us all, but he's never there whenever I call. He says he works hard, I think I know when he's trying to get re-elected again. You gotta be kidding me, gotta be kidding me. I can't believe a word that you say by the look in your eye. I can see it's a lie. Do you really think I was born yesterday? Now the preacher proclaims, I have good news. Believe it or not, it's all up to you, but you better believe what I have to sell. Man, if you don't, you'll go straight to hell. I'd rather go to Nashville. You gotta be kidding me, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe a word that you say by the look in your eye. I can see it's a lie. Do you really think I was born yesterday? Now I dreamed I was standing by heaven's door. Inside I saw people who once had been poor. Jesus came out, he says, where have you been? I like that you question, so you can come in to me. You gotta be kidding me, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe you're letting me in. By the look in your eye, I can finally see why. Using your brain is never a sin. So now we have.
I relate to that.
Huh?
I relate, especially about the teeth pulling.
Exactly.
Just had some teeth work done, thanks to Music Cares. They footed the bill for several cavities in my mouth, so that was a good thing.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
So it was a painful experience, but it was no pain, no gain. So so it was good. I didn't have to say what you said. It was fine. I was like, if anything, I was like surprised that Music Cares cared that much. You know, that's how I felt. Like, you got to be kidding me! Wow, all right, great. Cool. Thank you so much. You know?
Now we have our Skype interview.
Okay.
And our guest today is Tret Fure, and we talked before, and you know Tret.
I do know Tret.
And
wonderful person.
Now she was actually here when I did a previous show. It was a little bit different. Songwriter would come in, I interview them, and they do about 7 or 8 songs. And she was here up in Philly area one time, so it's cool to be able to talk to her again. So we'll be back after hearing from Tret. Tret Fure's music career spans 4 decades. After singing in coffee houses from age 16, Tret moved to LA at 19 to start her musical career. She became guitarist and vocalist for Spencer Davis within a year of her move to LA. In 1973, she recorded her first album with MCA UNI Records. She opened for bands such as Yes and Poco. She became one of the first women sound engineers in LA. In the early 80s, she decided to pursue her own independent musical career, becoming one of the top performers and songwriters in women's music. In the 90s, she and Cris Williamson worked together as a duo. In addition to her music, she has published, I guess you say, a cookbook called Tret's Kitchen. And she has many other things that are accomplishments. And Tret, I want to welcome you, and I'm going to ask you to add to what I just said.
Absolutely, that's great.
I was trying to read, and I had trouble.
It's hard, and it's a lot to read. I've done a lot through my 45-year career. In addition to releasing 14 albums since age 19, including Spencer's the album I did with Spencer. I also have a line of clothing called Tomboy Girl. My record company is Tomboy Girl Records. I teach on Skype, and I teach songwriting and guitar on Skype. I do pet portraits for a living when I'm home, and I'm also president of the North American Traveling Musicians Union. So I'm a pretty busy, even at this point in my life, I'm pretty busy. Yeah.
We're going to talk about 2 things today, and also hear some of your music. We're going to talk about about songwriting and something about performing. So in terms of the songwriting, today's topic, my in-studio guest is Kevin So. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things you have in common is both of you have sung and written songs in different genres.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
from your point of view, have you ever is your approach different? Has it been at all different based on the type of genre that you're writing for?
I would have to say yes. I mean, back in the mid '70s, my first album on MCA Uni was pretty much a folk album. I tried to write in the folk genre and also just acoustic singer-songwriter. But as I started working in the studios as a recording engineer in the '70s, I became acquainted with new wave music and punk music. And what I loved about it was that new wave was important lyrics set to a rock beat. It wasn't just rock and roll lyrics, I mean, there was songs of content, but they had a great sort of a punky new wave sound, and I really was fascinated with that. So I started writing a lot in that genre. I learned how to play electric guitar. I taught myself. Basically, I put a band together and played in LA, and that's how I taught myself. And I had a studio by the time I was in my home in the '80s. And when I was writing for that kind of music, I would actually go in the studio and create an entire track first. I'd put a drum machine, those were the days of drum machines and lots of keyboards. So I'd create a whole track with guitars and bass and drums and keyboards. And then I'd have to figure out where the melody would lie and what I had to say. Because in those days, I had much more of a musical bent and less of a lyrical. I wasn't, I was still growing as a lyrical artist and not always sure what it was I had to say, and always looking for the clever hook or some way to get inside of a song. So that really was probably almost my exclusive approach. I hardly ever worked from lyrics, or I shouldn't say hardly ever, but mostly I worked from music to lyrics and less from lyrics to music. The ones that were lyric to music were always the more acoustic songs, the more folk influenced songs. But then as I moved into the '90s, and I started co-writing a lot with Cris Williamson when we started releasing albums as a duo. My music sort of started moving more back towards folk, and hers was sort of moving towards pop. So we were sort of, I would call it sort of a folk pop rock sound that we had in the '90s. But I found myself really migrating back to acoustic music and back to my roots of singer-songwriter folk musician. And so my lyrics started coming first again. And not that the music is secondary, but I felt like the poetry was more important. And as I was aging, I had more to say and more ways to say it. And then I would often find the music after I found the words. And I would have to say that's mostly how I write now. The best songs come as one, come as a piece. When that muse just hits you and something just comes through you, you feel like you're a conduit. Those are often the best ones. But I these days, I'm in my 60s now. I'm careful about what I say. So I try to find my words first and then see if there's some music that will fit to it.
Tret, I'm going to ask you to do one of your songs.
Okay. Well, I'll do a song that's from my latest CD, which has been out for about 1.5 years now. It's a CD called A Piece of the Sky. And this is a song called The Zen of Being. 365 days to the end. Then I start a new year and begin once again. I move 2 steps forward and 1 step behind, into the future with the past still in mind. The Zen of Being, the Zen of Being. 12 times reminded of all that has gone, the rise words of a song. I close tight my eyes till they are blue once again. Not really my color, but a state I am in. It's the Zen of being. The Zen of being. The Zen of being. 52 reasons to step forward and move. Not weak in my gait, not shy in my shoes. I open my eyes to the brightness ahead. No longer afraid, no longer afraid, no longer afraid. 60 in centers, 24 times a day, minute by minute in the most beautiful way. A smile as I wake, a tear of pure joy, a love I so cherish, 3 girls and a boy, and the Zen of being. The Zen of being. The Zen of being. The Zen of being. Zen.
And did you say that was a pretty new song? Or?
That's on my latest CD.
Okay.
That's about a year and a half now.
What is your latest CD called?
It's called A Piece of the Sky.
The performing topic today has to do with vocal techniques in terms of how it connects with your performance. Do you do any warm-up exercises, or what do you do in terms of trying to make your voice the best that it can be when you perform?
I don't do warm-ups. I do a sound check. I'll run a song or two in sound check. And these days, sound check is pretty much within an hour before a performance. I just feel really fortunate that my voice is almost always there, knock on wood. But it just seems to be there for me. And of course, throughout the course of the performance, it does get stronger. I always feel like I have more control by the second set. But I don't want to warm up too much because to me it's, it just gives too much of it away. It's like I'm saving myself for the show. A lot of my show also involves a lot of storytelling these days. I do almost as much storytelling as singing. And so, I'm using my voice constantly in 2 different ways through the course of my show. But, to me, the vocal cords, your voice is a muscle, and the more you use it, the better it can be if you use it correctly. And I've had, good teachers, not really vocal teachers, but Cris Williamson is another natural singer. And, we helped each other a lot in our vocal techniques. And she showed me a lot about how to really open up my voice, how to use the diaphragm, how to use how to sing from your center and not from your head. And that's some of the stuff that I teach when I teach. Is to get out of your head voice and get into your chest and down into your diaphragm,
So it sounds like maybe it's a good idea to have a mentor, even if you want to use that term, somebody that that do it really well, and to learn some of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always valuable to learn from others who've been doing this longer or doing it well. But it really is about trusting yourself to open up your throat and your chest and letting yourself, I think a lot of singers, as they're nervous about what, you're insecure about what you're singing, you're insecure about what you're doing, you automatically tighten up. And I hear that in myself when I look at very old videos. I hear how I'm using my head voice too much, or you get constrained because you're nervous.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of nerves these days. I'm very comfortable in my work. I'm very happy when I'm on stage. So I'm relaxed. And the best thing you can do as a performer is to be relaxed. It opens everything up.
That's a good, that's a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to do another song for us.
Okay. Let me do a song from one of my older CDs. This is probably one of my most popular songs. I write a lot of love songs, and I sing at a lot of weddings. My family and friends and people around the country. And now, these days, especially with marriage equality, I get a lot of people who write to me and say, can I use this song in the wedding? I can't afford to bring you, which I would prefer, but can we use the song? And so a lot of people are sharing this song in their weddings these days. And it's called The Wedding Song. I wrote it for my nephew's wedding. Love is something none of us should ever take for granted. Love is something that we often do. It can shake you to the core, and it can turn the planet, or it can sneak up in an old soft shoe. In the moments that we're hardest hit, when life gets in the way, always keep in mind the vows we vow to keep. I will love you in the waking hours, the hours of the day, and I will love you more each night we fall asleep. Don't lose sight, don't feel bound, just give thanks for the love we found. Take my hand and take my heart, and I will keep the prayer to never walk apart. Love is how you say my name, the secrets that we share. And love is how you see into my soul. The way you smile, the way you stand, the color of your hair, and most of all, the way our lives unfold. Through the years we grow together, tried and tried so true. I will strive to keep you safe in every way. I will love you like I've never loved, tender only you. And I will love you each and every single day. Don't lose sight, don't feel bound, just give thanks for the love we found. Take my hand and take my heart, and I will keep the prayer to never walk apart. I will keep the prayer to never walk apart.
That is a beautiful song.
Thank you, Randy.
And I would think anybody would love to have that song at their wedding.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you how people can learn about you, how they can buy your music.
Well, I am available on CD Baby and on iTunes. Also, I sell my music on my own website, which is what I always prefer, of course. Mm-hmm. And that's Tret Fure, www.tretfure.com, and it's TRETFURE. But I don't sell downloads. If you're looking for downloads, iTunes or CD Baby is the place to go. I do sell downloads on, actually I should take that back. I do sell downloads through my site, but it does all go through iTunes. But if you want physical CDs, buy them from me on my website. There's a store link, and there you can find all my music, including the stuff that's out of print. I do CD, computer burns of those, and I reproduce the artwork and everything. And then all my clothing is available online as well. So everything that's there is on my store link.
And including your cookbook.
Including my cookbook, yes. Yeah.
Are you performing? You still perform outside of your area, right?
Oh yeah. In fact, I just got back I just drove 5,250 miles in the last 25 days.
Man,
It was a crazy fall, but a good one. I was up in New England and P-Town, and I did a songwriting workshop in Pennsylvania, and then I did a shot across the Midwest: Bowling Green, Ohio, Indianapolis, Wichita, St. Louis, Lawrence, Kansas. So it was a long driving tour, but it was the most economical way to do it, really. So I'm touring a lot. I have just one more weekend. I have the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance Conference, which I go to next week. I go representing my union. And then I have a show in New London, Connecticut. And then I'm done till mid-January, and then I start again. So I take the holidays off.
I also wanted to ask you, as far as your teaching of songwriting, now would someone go to your website and figure out how to do that?
Well, I teach individually on Skype, and that's you can contact me again, through my website. It's just tretfure@gmail.com. But if you go to my contact page, there's a link to email me. I don't have information on the website specifically about my songwriting. I do when I teach workshops. That's always under my concert page. And I'm done teaching workshops this year, but I'll resume again probably in February. And so I probably teach 4 or 5 workshops around the country throughout the year. But individually, just contact me. I teach guitar and I teach songwriting, and they both work really well on Skype.
Okay. Tret Fure, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Ray. My pleasure.
It. Okay. We'll see you.
Okay.
Okay. I want to thank Tret for joining us. Kevin, another song.
Okay. This is a new song. It's on my new album, Countryside. And it's a song that I wrote with Keb Mo, and it's called Why Am I Afraid? My lonely days are over, where I wanna be. Misery has finally turned its back on me. There's an angel at my doorstep. I finally found the one. I'm putting the past behind me. My life has just begun. You're everything I wanted, everything I need. So why am I afraid of your love? Yes, why am I afraid of your love? Yes, I'm familiar with heartache, accustomed to pain. This happiness you're giving me is driving me insane. You never want to argue, you never want to fight. Why do you always have to let me be the one who's right? You're everything I wanted, everything I need. So why am I afraid of your love? Yes, why am I afraid? I want to go back to desperate, rejected and confused. Don't play me no more happy songs. I want to hear the blues. You're everything I wanted, everything I love. Yes, why am I afraid of your love?
Boy, that's a nice song.
Thank you.
I can see you pitching that one, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Our performance topic today has to do with vocal techniques. And you have a wonderful voice, Kevin.
Thanks.
And do you do anything special? Or have you ever had voice lessons? Something along that line?
I just smoke a lot of crack, and I think just singing a lot in the car and playing a lot of gigs for so many years, and I've been working actually on my falsetto a little bit, sort of my head voice, just being able to open up and just finding that break in the high voice, and having toured with Keb and the band has been incredible training for me. I'm usually singing the higher parts of the 3 to 4 part harmonies that we do, and having to sing that every night, and after a gig, and take good care of myself, try to get plenty of sleep, drink lots of water, drink lots of tea when I can, and just listening to as many different vocalists as I can. We were talking earlier about performers, and I'm slow to the race, I guess, but Liza Minnelli is one of my favorite performers, an amazing performer, such stage presence. She's just in the moment, in the character. And I went through a little bit of a obsession with her movie Liza with a Z, the Bob Fosse kind of produced thing that she did, and just her ability to focus and in front of an audience and not feel paranoid whatsoever, but actually be that vehicle, where people are just living through her face. And so that's one thing I've been influenced by as far as performance goes. But yeah, vocals, there's so many singers that I love.
Do you do any, before you go out, do you ever do any, what would you call them? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I did that a couple nights ago. Just the normal feeling. It's funny because once you get in the habit of doing it, and then you don't do it for a while, and you realize how come you're not warmed up, how come you're feeling strange, and then you just go right into that routine that you've been doing off and on, but many times in the past. It kind of gets you, it's that outward-inward thing instead of inward-outward. Just getting all the aesthetics down and whatever it is, stretching and doing all those things. And then your mind is just sort of gets prepared. I think that's a thing. I think listening to music too, it's good to have a laptop or anything, even your phone, you could just turn it on and just listen to some music just to relax. But ultimately, I think the important thing is just to make sure that you have that quiet time before you go on stage and be the focus of attention. I always sort of have to remind myself that you are basically asking for people's attention for 60 minutes straight or whatever you're on stage for, and that's a lot. When you're in a crowded room, you go, "Excuse me, I'd like to get everyone's attention." Yeah. It's like 30 seconds maybe, but for 60 minutes, it's pretty intense. So I think you got to be really focused and really prepared that you're essentially doing public speaking, and it takes a lot of focus and a lot of concentration, a lot of silence beforehand.
I'm going to ask you to do your last song.
Sure. Thanks for having me here.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Do this. This one's called 5 Days in Memphis. And can I do a quick plug?
Absolutely.
So this is The Countryside. This is the album that I've been working on for about 4.5 years, and it's got a DVD on it too. It's a CD and DVD, something I'm really, really proud of, and I hope that you'll check it out. Go to kevinso.com, or you can go to, if you get KEVINSO.com, or if you forget that, you can go to sexyasianman.com. Not sexyasianmen.com, but sexyasianman.com, and it'll take you to my page. So, check me out on Facebook too. You can see facebook.com/KevinSoMusic, and please like my page. And here's 5 Days in Memphis. Thanks again for having me.
Another Greyhound station. I'm sitting here and waiting. There's country music playing in the background. Another place where I'm going to, some place where I know no one, but I have a good feeling about this town. I was born in a big city with big buildings and big chimneys, where the people are so busy they cannot smile, while my heart belongs to Texas and I'm miles from Massachusetts. I'm gonna check out Memphis for a while. I got 5 days in Memphis, gonna see that home of Elvis, drink a toast for a Louis and hear some blues. I got 5 days in Memphis, waited a long time for this. 5 days in Memphis, a dream come true. This bus is overcrowded, baseball hats, leather jackets, untied laces, unshaved faces on parole. But there's a church for every sinner, there's the Mississippi River, and there's a song for every prisoner, young and old. I got 5 days in Memphis, gonna see that home of Elvis, send a postcard to Las Vegas saying I miss you. I got 5 days in Memphis, waited a long time for this. 5 days in Memphis, a dream come true. I'll leave some time to pay respects to Dr. Martin Luther, a silent prayer for what happened there at the Lorraine Motel. Jump in a cab, lay down a track at 706 Union. Cut a 45, maybe we'll invite the Reverend Al. I can't wait to walk down Beale Street, got my steel string, got my socket, and a brand new 22-carat ring of gold. I can't wait to get to Memphis, my elbow hurts from this old armrest. I can't wait to get dropped off this endless road. I got 5 days in Memphis, gonna see that home of Elvis, drink a toast for a Louis and hear some blues. I got 5 days in Memphis, waited a long time for this. 5 days in Memphis, a dream come true, a dream come true, a dream come true, a dream come true. It's another Greyhound station, I'm sitting here and waiting. There's country music playing in the background.
Well, another wonderful song.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Before we go, I want to talk a little bit about our next show, and our in-studio guest is a guy from Delaware County here, where I live, Vincent James, and Vincent, a lot of songs that he writes are love songs, and he's actually written them for people that have weddings and stuff like that. And he also I believe he's also started a new songwriting group, which is cool. And my Skype guest next time is Eve Goldberg. Do you know Eve from Toronto?
I do not, unfortunately.
And so she will be talking to her out of the country, so to speak.
Right on.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin So, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It was great. We'll see you in about 2 weeks.